You just mentioned being a lawyer, you had monetary goals, and then it switched to money isn't anything. What was that switch like, and when was it?
I think it's when I realized that money, the salary I get from working as a lawyer is more like a compensation to me for the lack of socials, the lack of sleep, and the overtime that I get over the weekend, and the anxiety that I get from working with very demanding, for the right reason, very demanding lawyers, partners. So yeah, I think everything in life is just give and take. Like you can't get everything in your bag. You just, whatever you get, there will be equally, relatively a sacrifice. So right. It's all about what you want. So it's more about what you're willing to sacrifice to, rather than just about what you want to get into your bag.
For people who don't know about Genie Friends, I've been to one of these events and it's great. Can you tell us a little bit more about what are you guys doing? What kind of pain point are you guys solving? And where is it going from here?
I think for us, the pain point is scalability and a little bit about the margin, I would say, because scalability meaning that it's a community business. So let's say when I, Eric and Angel, the three co-founders, go to events, then people actually love the event a lot more because we are very committed. We know exactly what's happening and people feel safe when we're around. And then we'll do the opening properly and everything. So people actually love it. They love the energy and everything. But it means that if we're not there, then the quality goes a little bit south. So I guess, and also it's a lot more risky as well. Let's say if I have someone in Sydney hosting a dinner without my presence, I'll be scared to death, honestly. I'll be on the nerve all the time. So I think scalability is a difficulty. So in terms of how to find a balance between scaling to different cities to more people, but at the same time keeping the quality, in particular, how to make sure that whoever is hosting the dinner can maintain the present quality. Yeah.
What's the biggest milestone you have achieved as a team on Genie Friends?
I think so for us, I don't think there's such a thing as the biggest milestone, because maybe I'll talk a little bit think about the personal belief of growth. So I think growth happens in a way that you cannot observe it. So basically growth only happens daily through one step at a time. So if it's a real growth, you won't be able to spot it at any point in time. If it's a fake growth, then you'll be able to see it and you'll be like, oh, damn, it's great. Earn 2,000 pounds or 1 million Hong Kong dollars on a day or whatever. I think this is by itself already a red flag that it may not be a real growth, because I think real growth should be humble enough that you won't be able to spot it. Back to our business, I think it's the daily grind is every single conversation that we have with every single one of our guests that I think it's a milestone itself. Rather than let's say, oh, we hit 8,000 members, 9,000 members, 10K members or whatever. It's not about that. Yeah.
What do you think is the most important mindset and soft skills as an entrepreneur?
Oh, yeah. I think for that, the ability to learn very quickly, the ability to adapt and the ability to learn very quickly, because one of my co-founder, Eric, he's a very good learner. So he self-taught himself how to code, how to do data analytics. And yeah, and as a result, all the backend, all the data analysis and the mobile application, web application, everything of Genie Friends is actually built mainly by him. So he used to be a law graduate. He used to know nothing about it in undergrad. So I think it's that ability to learn anything very quickly. And he has a principle. So he said, so the best way or the way for an entrepreneur to grow very quickly is to master a skill as soon as possible to 80%. So you only have to know it all the way to 80% and beat 80% of the people out there. And at that point, you can call yourself, it's a comfortable level that I feel that I'm pretty good at. So the key of that is actually not to learn everything, but the key of that is to learn up to 80% fast and quick. Yeah.
That's the probably 80-20% rule.
Yeah.
What is some advice for people who have similar backgrounds or not, looking to get into law? What is your biggest untold secret as a lawyer since you got out of it now?
Honestly, I think, first of all, I really have to confess that I'm not a very good lawyer, but it really depends on whether you're in, let's say, litigation, which is contentious, or non-contentious, which is transactional lawyer. If you're a litigation lawyer, then you have to get that sense of what are the costs of action. You have to get a sense of the case, the direction of the case, where it's heading, the strategy part. I think for this, it's actually very hard to be taught at school. It is almost like it's an intuition. It's almost like it's something that you have a feel. So it's driven by feeling rather than it's top on the books. On the other hand, if you're a transactional lawyer, then maybe it's easier for you because in a way, then as long as you can follow the steps, follow the procedures, and make sure that everything is done properly, then I would argue that you'll be a reasonably capable lawyer in that regard.
Right. You have mentioned that in a law firm you were pretty stressed out.
Yeah.
Your managers may be unreasonable. What was one of the most memorable experience for you at a law firm that sometimes you go back and go, that is exactly why I left?
So first of all, I really must say it's a good firm. And second of all, I think they're not really bad people. They're actually very nice people. It's just that when it comes to working under pressure, people tend to get more agitated from time to time. But back to your question, I think there's a time when I was sent to Beijing during COVID, and I was basically quarantined for 21 freaking days. And during that 21 days, I work until 2 a.m. every single day with a small laptop, a tiny screen, but I have to look at different documents. And it was very, very stressful because the food's not great, internet broke down, and I was bad, and I was in a bad headspace, but I need to get the work done. So even though I may not be the fastest worker in the room, and especially when I was in quarantine, everything just got even slower and less productive, I still have to get the shit done, right? So I guess it is a sort of a bad experience, but at the same time, it teaches me one very important rule, and that is if you need to get something done, you have to get something done. There's no excuse. You just need to get it done.
Would you say that's part of your mentality to resulting in what you were successful in, or starting Genie Friends, or still in Genie Friends?
I think so. It's not that one incident, but I would say it's a personality that I got since very young. So because since then I was a little kid, everything is conditional. So I just need to make sure that I have to achieve that in order to get what I want. That give and take transactional nature relationship that actually forms me to be who I am today. I'm not saying it's 100% healthy. May sound a little bit toxic, or maybe actually it's a little bit toxic, but it is what it is.
What is one of the biggest weaknesses that you're looking to fix? I personally think, just like you said, fundamentally slightly broken, but that's what got us here today. Is there anything you want to just resolve, or it's baked in your mind that unconditional love? Would you want to work on that aspect of things?
Yes, I think there's something that I really need to work on, and that boils down to one word again, and that's acceptance, self-acceptance. So I think I have always been having relatively low self-esteem from time to time, and I get very nervous about what people think of me. But I think something that I really want to at least achieve in the future is to self-accept, and the fact that you're good enough. And of course, everything comes with sacrifice. So let's say if I'm an okay high achiever in Hong Kong, then there are actually consequences. For example, I get pretty stressed from time to time. And I would say I have a pretty toxic trait of seeing relationship in a transactional nature.
Okay.
This is something I really need to work on because everything comes with a consequence. Yeah.
What do you think to you is the difference between imagining what being a lawyer is and then becoming one? Is there any difference? And the same thing for before you started Genie Friends and then now you're into it? Is there a mismatch or a different expectation or imagination?
Yes, it's very different. So first, the lawyer part, I would say, because I was working as a solicitor, so it's not about going to the courtroom wearing your wig and say, my lord, this is wrong, or objection, or whatever as shown on TV dramas. So it's more about dealing with daily paperwork, looking at the nitty gritty of different ordinances, basically looking at the tiniest thing that you can ever imagine in a big pile of documents. And I would say it is quite boring, but it's very important because mistakes are often made when you don't see them. Is that little grammatical mistake in that sentence that you omitted, or that phrase you didn't put in that clause, that actually becomes a nightmare for you. Yeah, so I guess that's the lawyer part.